Hello guys, I think that we are live. Yes, we are. What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we are meeting, my name is Oliver and on this channel we talk about education and early career development in Finland. And during these weekly live Q&A sessions, I basically answer all of your most burning questions about studying, living and working in Finland. And how these live streams work is that if you want me to answer your questions live, there is a link to a Google form in the description box below the video. So if you want me to answer your questions live, please post your questions into the Google form. The reason why I'm doing it this way is simply because that way I will have all of your questions here in front of me on the computer, and it's easier for me to go through the questions in a first come, first serve basis. If you post your question into the live chat, it is highly likely that I will miss your question, or at least it will take me a long time to get to your question, after all. Anyways, before we jump into the first questions, which were actually left from last week's live stream, I will quickly post the link to the live stream into our Discord server. And just to let everyone know, especially if you're coming here in the replay, if you're not yet a member of our Discord server, I highly recommend that you consider joining. The idea of the server is to build a community of people who are interested in studying and working in Finland. And in the server, I post updates about upcoming videos and live streams, and we have a bit more personal dialogue about all of these different things. Anyway, I will quickly link the video or the live stream to the Discord server. What's up, Eric? Welcome to the stream. I will, thanks for asking about the thesis. I will actually jump to it in just a second. I'll just have to make sure that I actually have the live stream linked into the server. And after that, I will be able to jump into the questions, making sure that everything is A-okay. All right, I think that we are almost there. There we go. What's up, Evgenia? Welcome to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Awesome to have you here as well. Hopefully you've had a great hopefully everyone had a great Easter. We didn't really do anything here in Finland because, of COVID. But in addition, Easter isn't, celebrated that bigly, that's a good word in Finland, but it was a really nice free public holiday, basically a long weekend that we took. Cool. First of all, welcome everyone. Once again, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, please post your questions into the Google form that is linked in the description box below, and I will get to your questions in a first come, first serve basis. After that, to your question, Eric, actually, thank you very much for asking. My thesis is almost done. I actually submitted my last version of the thesis to my instructor, and unless he has some big changes that he wants me to do, then I will hopefully be able to submit my thesis officially next week, hopefully. If not, then, well, I might need to actually work a bit more on it, but hopefully not. Lonely Planet Traveler, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. Taranver, welcome to the stream as well. I would love to get into your question because that is an important topic. However, it's a long discussion that we need to have. So please, if you could, please post your question into the Google form that I have linked in the description box below, because I will now jump into the questions that were left from last week and start actually answering some questions. Excuse me. All right, so the first question for this live stream actually comes from Fa, and Fa comes from France, and Fa is actually coming to Finland to work, not for school, and specifically in the field of engineering. And the question is, hello, I am not Finnish, but I do speak Finnish natively. My dad is from Finland. Will I be at a disadvantage just as position compared to Finnish people when looking for a job? That's actually a very interesting question. I've never actually encountered a situation where you are not a Finnish person, but you actually speak native Finnish. I would say that no, you're not in a disadvantaged situation, since your citizenship your citizenship in itself, especially considering that you are a European Union national, doesn't really matter in this case. The only big barrier for many people, depending on the field, of course, in terms of finding a job in Finland is specifically the language barrier. I've spoken about this before. There is a language barrier in some fields where you have to, especially if you are in a role, or especially if you're applying for a position where you have to be in constant contact with people, basically customers, or it doesn't need to be consumers, but customers, or if you need to communicate with a lot of third-party stakeholders per se, then you might actually need Finnish. So in a sense, I would say that you are actually in a very good position because you first of all, you speak Finnish, even though you're not a Finnish national, but then of course you speak French natively, and then I would guess that you speak English as well, pretty good. So actually you might be in a advantaged position because you actually speak another European language, which means that you might actually be have a really big advantage over others, especially if the company that you're applying to work in has a subsidiary or some kind of another office in France, for example, because then you might be able to communicate between the offices. So depending on the job, I would say that would be my best guess in this case. The next question comes from Lars, who comes from the USA, and Lars is coming to Finland again, also for work, not for school, and specifically in the field of medicine. And Lars's question is: I'm a primary care physician, medical degree with a medical degree and residency training in the United States. How difficult is it to be approved by Valvira, which is basically the governing body in Finland in terms of the medical field? So how difficult is it to get approved in Finland to be able to do medical internships and to work as a foreign physician in Finland? Is it true that foreign physicians can only generally find jobs in rural, more isolated regions of Finland? That's actually the opposite, basically, at least according to my understanding and gut feeling and logic as well. So first of all, a disclaimer: I'm not an expert in the field of medicine. I have no prior experience in this. I actually don't have any close friends who have a degree in medicine. So you have to take into account that the field of medicine, as you alluded to, is a very heavily regulated field in Finland, around the world as well, and you have to be certified in order to work as a physician. Having said this, to your question, I have no idea how to actually get approved as a physician in Finland. But what I would do in your case is I would actually contact the Finnish Medical Association. So basically just Google the Finnish Medical Association. Excuse me. I would actually contact them because they are basically the advocate for medical experts, physicians, doctors, nurses in Finland, or at least for doctors, and they most likely will have the answers that you're looking for. So basically contact them using this email that you have at the bottom of the website and ask the exact same question. They will be able to either give you a direct answer to the question or direct you towards the correct materials that you would need to read through in order to understand, what's the deal. The problem for me is I really don't want to answer these kind of questions because the field is so heavily regulated and I seriously don't have any expertise here. So I just don't want to give any faulty information. However, to your second part of the question was, is it true that foreign physicians can only generally find jobs in a rural, more isolated regions of Finland? No, I would guess that that's the complete opposite. The reason being that when you're working in more rural areas, you have to speak better, Finnish compared to for example, if you work in the capital region. My understanding is that if you want to work in the medical field in Finland, you have to learn at least basic level Finnish anyways, so that you can communicate with your patients. However, if you work in rural areas, that's going to be a bit of a bigger problem. In addition, of course, in the bigger cities, you have bigger hospitals, you have private market hospitals as well as public hospitals. So it's easier to find a job because there's just more of them in the big areas. And then the question about what it takes to actually become a physician in Finland. I would say that the more specialized you are, the easier it is to find a job. Of course, if you are a neurosurgeon, there's never enough of you guys. However, if you haven't specialized in anything and you are basically just again, I don't know the exact terms, but if you're just a medical doctor, then it might be a bit harder. I'm not saying it's hard, but you get the point. All right. Hopefully that gave you a bit of context around your question. Before I jump into the next question, just want to say hi to everyone who just joined. Hassan Graval, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I would love to answer your question, but if you could please post your question into the Google form that I have linked in the description box below. I have a bunch of questions there already in the queue, if you post your question into the Google form, I will be able to answer all of your questions in a first come, first serve basis. Mustakin, what's up, man? Welcome back to the stream. Saying hi, Oliver. How are you? Mostakin Shaikh from Bangladesh. Take a love, brother. I want to know which subject tuition fees will be low in Finland. That's a good question. Unfortunately, there is no way for me to say because the tuition fees don't necessarily correlate with the actual subjects because they are university specific. I actually have a video on the channel where I talk about tuition fees, and in the description box of that video, I actually have a link to a free Excel spreadsheet where I list all the different tuition fees in every single university in Finland. So go ahead and check that out. Jet Koti, what's up, man? Moi moi to you as well. Technical Booth, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream as well. Once again, guys, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, please post your questions into the Google form and I will be able to get to you in the first come, first serve basis. The faster you post your question, the faster I will get to it. Talking of which, the next question comes from Rishi, who comes from India, and actually Rishi is a regular on the channel, which is really cool to see, all the regulars coming back. And Rishi is starting school in Finland this semester, doing a master's in data analytics and engineering. And Rishi is saying, hi Oliver, what's up, man? Your live Q&As are just awesome. It feels like an event, to be honest. All right, cool. That's actually fun. Thank you for the positive feedback. I do appreciate it. So my question is, I have received my admission letter from the University of Vaasa in the Industrial System Analytics program. Earlier, I received my admission letter from the University of Oulu in Business Analytics and Data Engineering. First of all, before I even get to your question, huge congratulations, man. That's absolutely awesome to hear that you actually received multiple admission letters. That's freaking awesome. If I would have, a couple of glasses of sparkling, cheers. I guess that your question is about which one to choose. So what's your recommendation and opinions on both of the universities and the cities of Vaasa and Oulu? Yeah, there we go. Both schools are excellent. Both cities are also excellent. They're very different. Vaasa is located on the west coast of Helsinki. West coast of Finland, and it's basically a harbor city, which is really, really cool. I have a couple of friends who have actually studied there. Haven't heard anything negative about it. Vaasa is basically, if you look at geographically, it's almost at the midpoint. From if you look at the southern and northernmost tips of Finland, and then on the other hand, Oulu, which is also on the west coast, but it's much higher up north. It's also a really, really awesome city. It's a very technological city. There's a lot of technology companies that have actually born from Oulu. Of course, it's way more up north, which means that, for example, during the winter, you're closer to different skiing centers. You can go to Lapland easier if you want to, if that's something that you want to do. But also it's because it's further up north, the winters are going to be a bit darker. The days are going to be a bit shorter. So that's kind of the geographical difference between the two different cities. Both are large university cities, so I would, the student life there is awesome, absolutely freaking awesome. In addition to, they're both really, really good schools. So I would say that I would be happy with both. Personally, my preference, my preference for no obvious reason is Vaasa. I actually don't know why, because I actually love Lapland. I would love to live in Oulu to, be closer to the nature, how do you say, the big, Lapland, basically, all the different huge hikes that they have there, skiing centers. But I would go to Vaasa personally. It's really, really hard to say because they're very, very nice cities both, and the schools are awesome. Um, cool. Mustagin, yeah, sure. So there's actually, I can just show you, mm, just super quickly, if you don't mind. So, or actually, I can just, I think I might be able to link it. So if you go to my channel and just search for tuition, and then you actually go to this video, and then I think, here you go. There you go. It's actually now in the chat. So I actually have the tuition fee spreadsheet in the chat. Please do note I have not updated the tuition fees for this or the upcoming applications. So for 2022. So those might not be the exact same tuition fees. However, I think that that's going to give you a good benchmark at least. Cool. All right. The next question comes from Sunil Sakam, who comes from India and is applying to Metropolia University of Applied Sciences to do a master's in business IT. And the question is, I have a 2.8 GPA in bachelor's. For LUT master's minimum, the minimum is 3.0. Can I still apply? If the minimum that they tell you to have is exactly 3, and you have a 2.8 GPA, sure, you can always apply. The system is not going to stop you from applying, but you're not going to get admitted. That's pretty simple. And you also have to, even if you have a GPA of exactly 3.0, you have to consider that the admission is done on a competitive basis, meaning that only the best applicants are admitted. Meaning that if you have an exact GPA of 3.0 and that's the minimum that you need to have, and you don't have any special, you don't, for example, have any prior work experience, you don't have anything that makes you separate from the pack, it's going to be really hard to get admitted, even if you just pass the minimum threshold. So just keep this in mind. But if your GPA is under the minimum requirement, then it's under the minimum requirement. That would logically tell you that you cannot be admitted with that kind of a GPA. Yeah. Cool. The next question comes from Mikhail Nadiradze, and Mikhail comes from Georgia, and it was actually here last week, which is really cool. And Mikhail is starting school this semester doing a master's in finance at the Hunken School of Economics, which is a great school. And Mikhail is saying, as many have mentioned, I'd say that I've got a full scholarship from Hunken. All right, sorry. As I have mentioned, I've got a full scholarship from Hunken. That's awesome. Congratulations, dude. That is absolutely brilliant. And I would like to know the details about the school, as it is the only school I have applied to in Finland, and I have some other offers from Nordic countries as well. Okay, so first of all, huge congratulations on getting the full scholarship from Hunken. That's absolutely awesome. Hunken is basically the one of the top business schools in Finland. Usually I have no idea of the rankings. However, usually it's put on the same level with Aalto University School of Business. There's a huge amount of Hunken School of Economics alumni that basically sit on the management teams and boards of different publicly traded companies in Finland. It's basically, you could think of it as the number 2 business school in Finland. So it's an excellent school. The student community is really cool. They have a really cool student culture. Plus, the school is located in the dead center of Helsinki, so the school couldn't be in a better location. It's really easy to actually get there via metro, bus, tram, helicopter, whatever you have. I highly recommend seriously considering taking the admission from Hunken, simply because it's such a good school. They have a very good track record on building up professionals that end up in the management positions in many big companies. Of course, everything depends on you and your skills to ability to build your own skill set. But I actually applied to Hunken as well. When I applied to university, I had Aalto as my number 1 option, and I chose Aalto. In the end. But yeah, highly recommended. Let's see, who do we have here? Aaron, what's up, man? What's up, my man? Welcome to the stream. Awesome to have you here once again. Hopefully you're doing awesome and had a nice Easter, as well as everyone else. Rishi, what's up, man? Welcome. I actually just answered one of your old questions. If you go back like 10 minutes, I actually gave you an answer to your question from last week, I think. Sininen, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Saying, has anyone heard from the University of Helsinki? Sininen, I do know that people have been hearing from the University of Helsinki in terms of the admission results. However, do take into account that the admission results, or the absolute final deadline for the admission results, is what I think June 4th. So it's still going to take some time to for the university to inform every single student about their admission. So just again, be patient about this. There's no point of contacting the university because they are not able to give you any information before they are, officially able to share the information with you. Mustaking asking, is photography and filmmaking subjects available in Finland? I would guess so. I have no idea where you could study them. I've never looked into this, but I would guess so. Just try Googling photography and filmmaking bachelor's Finland, and you can go from there. Ramil, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. Awesome to have you here. Lavanya, Yanam, sorry, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your last name. Welcome back to the stream. Who else do we have? Oh yeah, actually Jet Kotti saying here that Hanken has a AAA accreditation. That's very true. It's a very, very successful school. When you look Finland. So I would highly recommend it. I have multiple ex-colleagues and multiple friends. And for example, I think my godfather actually studied at Hanken as well. So a bunch of really highly successful people. So yeah. Anyway. The next question actually comes from Jet Kotti, and the question is, Jet comes from India. He's a regular on the channel as well as a member on at the channel. You're appreciated as always, brother. And Jet has a question. Can you transfer from a University of Applied Sciences to a university in your second year, or will you have to apply to the university as a completely new applicant? Great question, man. That's a really good question, and this actually is something that people get a bit confused about because it's a pretty vague. There's no really good explanations about this. Simply put, no, you cannot transfer from a University of Applied Sciences to a university. You have to apply separately to a university. At any point. You can apply, the same year that you start school at the University of Applied Sciences. You can, apply the second year, third year, even after graduation, but you have to apply separately. So this is one of, for example, one of the reasons why when people ask me whether or not they should actually apply for a University of Applied Sciences versus a university, especially if they want to do a master's degree, this is what I usually tell them. When you apply to a when you're admitted to study at a university at a bachelor's level, you are also at the same time automatically admitted to study a master's degree in the same school as well. So how this works is that when you actually finish your bachelor's degree in a university, you can automatically, it's just you fill one digital form on the internet at the university, and then you can just go into the master's classes right away. There's nothing extra in between. However, if you want to study a master's degree and you apply to study a bachelor's degree at a University of Applied Sciences, then you have to separately apply to a university master's degree, going through the exact same, the exact application process that everyone else has to do. You have to fill out application documents, send out, an application, then you have interviews, and then you might actually not even be admitted. So if you want to do a master's degree, or if you know that you want to do a master's degree after your bachelor's, you should apply for a university instead of a University of Applied Sciences. There. Also, one more thing. If you, for some reason, start studying at a University of Applied Sciences, and then you apply to a university, and then you basically transfer there after getting admitted, you are not able to transfer your previous credits from the University of Applied Sciences into the university. The credits do not transfer. So take this into account as well. Mohammed, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. Mohammed Amine, ¿qué tal? Awesome to have you back in the stream. The next question from the form comes from Obaida, who comes from Syria. And Obaida is already studying in Finland, which is cool, doing a master's in ICT, specifically in cybersecurity, which is really awesome. I remember discussing this before. And the question is, how can I find a scholarship for PhD in ICT? And when should I apply for it if I want to study by next fall? Great question. If you want to do a PhD in Finland, do take into account that you have to apply for the PhD separately. And when you apply, or as I've understood, when you apply for a PhD, you have to, in the application, you have to submit a plan for financing your PhD research. And some universities are able to finance your PhD studies, for example, for the first year. Not all of them, just, please check your university website. But what you basically need to do afterwards is start applying for different kind of grants and scholarships, for example, from different private foundations that support academic research. And on university websites, if you go to the university PhD website, they usually have a list of different foundations and third-party organizations that fund academic research, and then you have to apply for those grants as the applications are opened. The problem here is that the many of the foundations and many of the grants are not annual, so they are not open every single year. Plus, the application for them is kind of sporadic, so it's all over the place. So since I have never applied for PhD funding myself, actually my brother has for multiple years now, I cannot help you here, concretely. The one thing that I would tell you is that if you're interested in doing a PhD, please contact your faculty, and especially the person who is in charge of the PhD studies, and consult them about this issue, because they will be able to help you out in concrete steps. So, this is the one thing that I would say. All right, cool. The next question comes from Happy Chukwudike Ibe, and he comes from Nigeria and is applying to do a PhD in finance. Cool, with a focus on corporate sustainability and enterprise value creation. Nice, super interesting. And the question is, I wish to study in Finland, but I don't know how to go about it. Could you please help me? Yeah, sure. So the only thing, this is a very broad topic, of course, applying for a PhD. There's a lot of steps in the process. So the first thing that you would need to actually look into is the different universities that actually have a PhD program in finance. Basically, every single university that has a business school in them has a PhD program in finance or in business in general. What I would recommend to you to do is start with one school so that you can actually get a grasp of the process. So just Google Aalto University PhD Finance, and you can actually see the first link here, PhD program in finance. You should actually have a lot of information here, for example, about the structure of the program, the application, how to fund the program. So kind of going back to the question that I spoke about, just now. What else? Then you have, for example, contact information. For questions regarding the PhD program, please email gsf@aalto.fi. Start from the page, start reading through the materials, start reading especially about the application process from here, so that you can actually start familiarizing yourself with the process. Again, I've never gone through a PhD application process myself. It's very, very much different from a master's degree application. So you have to start looking through this information yourself. Yeah, that would be my advice. So again, start with just simply Googling Aalto University PhD Finance, and you should be able to start with that. Cool. The next question comes from Savidu, who comes from Sri Lanka, and Savidu is starting school this semester at the University of Oulu, doing a master's in computer sciences and engineering, specifically in AI, which is awesome. And the question is, hey Oliver, I noticed that you have a lot of cool camera gear and video equipment. What are some good places to buy tech products in Finland? How expensive are they compared to other countries? Yeah, great question. So, of course, do know that I do this professionally. Of course, the video gear that I have, for example, the microphones, the cameras, the lights, etc., are not just for the YouTube. I actually use this for other stuff as well. So I have a couple of other companies as well that I use the gear for. So that's why I've been able to afford investing into the everything. So there's basically one place that I shop for all of my electronics, which is verkkokauppa.com. It's the literal translation is onlinestore.com, and for some reason their website is not in English, which is awesome. Completely stupid. Yeah, verkkokauppa.com is basically the place where I shop, do all of my shopping. Hashtag not sponsored. I wish it would be. They have a massive store in Helsinki. They have a store in Oulu as well, so that would be suitable for you. So here's the address, if you can see it. Sorry, excuse me. Kakkurinkulma 4, Oulu. So this is the address that you should be looking for. But however, the cool thing about them is that they have a really good delivery service. So it's one of the reasons why they are so popular. Verkkokauppa I really recommend it because they have the cheapest prices, basically out of all different stores in Finland, but also they at the same time have the best selection for any kind of electronics. And this applies to every single one of you. If you need to buy a new computer, if you need to buy, basic electronics like, charging cables, charging plugs to Finland. When you move to Finland, you need 2 prongs. So, for example, when you come to Finland and you need to buy, if you need to buy your, charging plug with the 2 prongs that go into the Finnish electric socket, all of these I always buy from Verkkokauppa because they have a really good delivery service. And they actually have a very good refund system as well. If for example, the product simply isn't what what you were looking for, you can actually return it within, I think, 28 days with a full refund, which is really awesome. About the expenses, electronics in general in Finland are pretty expensive due to the high taxes. Of course, depends on the country, but I would say that if you come from Sri Lanka, I would guess that the prices are quite a bit higher here. So just take that into account. And I recommend that if you have to, for example, buy a computer or laptop before you come to Finland, buy it from your country. 2 reasons. First, in Finland, computers are quite expensive. Second, of course, since we have a different alphabet in Finland, unless you are willing to get unless you're willing to use a keyboard with for example, a UK keyboard, then you need to buy it from abroad, because if you are going to type with a Finnish keyboard and you're used to whatever you have, for example, a US keyboard, it's going to be completely different. We have different different letters on the keyboard, so please take that into account before you buy a laptop in Finland. So yeah. All right, dude, Rishi once again comes with a super sticker. I have no idea how to do this. Again, dude, how do I emote hearts? I can only do the face. I can't do the hearts, but I think the face would be something like this. And then hearts. I don't know. Thanks, man. That's always appreciated. Cool. What else? Yeah, the next question from the form comes from Yati from India, and Yati has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in doing a bachelor's in business, specifically in international business. And the question is, I just want to know about Kajaani and about the university there, because I really like that town. Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot really help you here because I've never been to Kajaani myself. Okay, I've been to Kajaani. I've basically driven through Kajaani a couple of times. I've never spent time there. I've never been to the university campus, and I actually don't have any friends who have gone to Kajaani University. So there's really nothing I can say here. Um, the default thing that I always say is that every single university in Finland is very high quality, when you compare them internationally. So if you think that, or if you if you have found a program that is interesting to you, and you think that you're able to get admitted there, apply. That's what I would say. You shouldn't start nitpicking between the different schools because that one is just a bit better in rankings or that one is something else. Yeah, no. I would definitely recommend it. If you think that the city is awesome, then yeah, the University of Kajaani or the University of Applied Sciences in Kajaani is definitely a good choice. Let's stop for just a second. First of all, I need a drink. And while I'm actually having a drink, just letting everyone know, everyone who just joined the stream, or if you're new to the live streams, welcome. My name is Oliver, and on the channel we talk about education and early career development. And if you want to have your question answered live during these live streams, there is a Google form that is linked in the description box below. And if you could please post your question into the Google form, because that way I will have all the questions here in front of me on the computer and I will be able to go through them one by one. The problem is that if you post your question into the live chat, I'm most likely going to miss it because, I have the camera here, I have my computer here, I have the chat here. So I have a lot of stuff going on at the same time. So if you post your question into the chat, I'm most likely going to miss it. So don't, get angry with me. Please, just post your question into the Google form. That makes everything easier for me. Second thing, we're currently actually at 9 likes, and it would be awesome if we could, while I'm answering the next question, if we could get to 15 likes, that would be awesome. Bhavya, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. How are you? Hopefully you had a great Easter or a great weekend. Weary Warriors, what's up, man? Well, I'm actually doing quite well. Thank you very much for asking. Hopefully you're doing good as well. Davish, welcome to the stream as well. What's up? Tampere is an awesome city. It's a really cool city. Really enjoy it every time I'm there. So yeah, definitely recommend it if you have been offered a place there. Vimotion, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. Awesome to have you here once again. Yeah, actually, Bhavya just saying here that can you give me a shout out saying that I'm moving to Tampere so I can connect with people who are in Tampere already? Yeah, definitely. So Bhavya Bhavna here in this live chat is actually saying that he's going to Tampere. He's been admitted to study there, which is awesome. So if anyone is actually considering Tampere or moving there, just give Bhavya a shout out, and you guys can maybe connect on LinkedIn or social media, and you can actually meet when you actually have moved to Tampere, or all of you have moved to Tampere. Cool. Chilofia, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. If you have any questions, guys, just post your question in the Google form, and I will be able to answer your questions in a first come first serve basis. Speaking of which, the next question from the Google form comes from Sabur, who comes from Pakistan and is regular on the streams, which is awesome. I do appreciate it. And Sabur is starting school this semester, doing a master's in chemistry, at the university. And the question is, will classes be held online for September 2021 intake for Aalto University? I got admitted to Aalto University with a 100% scholarship, and I'm looking forward to availing myself of this prestigious opportunity. Dude, that's freaking awesome. Congratulations. That is absolutely ridiculous. Congratulations once again, getting a 100% tuition fee waiver or scholarship to Aalto University. Congratulations. That's awesome. Well done. I don't know what else to say. Congratulations. That's freaking awesome. To your question, it's still a bit unclear whether or not all classes will be held online in September and onwards. Currently, the vaccination situation in Finland looks semi-positive. We are on the path on getting a big portion of the country vaccinated before September. My personal guess is I'm trying to be somewhat pessimistic so that I don't get disappointed afterwards. So my personal guess is that we will have at least some of the classes still online during the autumn term. Most likely, some of the classes that will be, done face to face are going to be small classes, especially if you need to, use some kind of machinery, or for example, in your case, if you need to be in a laboratory, then I think those classes might be held at least to some extent face to face at the campus. But I think that many, for example, basic level, introductory courses where you have big mass lectures, those might still be held online in September this year. My guess, this is not an official take, this is just my guess based on the current situation and how the situation has actually developed. Jehed Goti, dude, thank you so much once again for a super sticker. Unicorn sticker, I do appreciate it. I hope that meant that I'm a unicorn, because I feel beautiful today. Thank you very much. I'm fully caffeinated. I've had way too many cups of coffee today, so I'm just all over the place. But yeah, thanks so much, dude. I do appreciate the super sticker as always. I do appreciate the support. I have no idea how to emote a unicorn, so maybe I need some kind of emoticons or sound panels here, so that I can actually do something whenever you guys actually support me with super stickers or something. Let's see. Just a moment. I need to ban a couple of people here. Just a moment. There you go. All right. There were some people in the chat talking about stuff that I don't appreciate. So, instant ban. Sorry. If jokes are jokes, but we're trying to keep the discussion civil and clean. So that's an instant ban to the channel. Sorry. Anyways, the next question comes from Joe from Malta. That's really cool. I think that you're the first person from Malta. That's awesome. It's really cool to get people from all over the world into the stream. That I really appreciate it. It's awesome to connect with people from all around the world. Nice. Anyway, yeah, Joe is starting school this semester, doing a master's in finance at Vaasa. And the question is, besides Aalto University, which is the best program for masters in finance? Is it Vaasa, or can you say something about Vaasa? Yeah, so Aalto University, of course, they have the best business school in Finland, based on the rankings and, multiple other factors. However, the University of Vaasa, the University of Turku, University of Oulu, for example, are all great schools. Hanken School of Economics is a great school, for example, for business as well. Again, for example, finance. Vaasa is a great school. Vaasa plus the city of Vaasa is really awesome. They have a really cool student community and student culture. And of course, I always tell everyone here that as a basic rule of thumb, if you know what you're doing, if you work hard, and if you're able to learn a lot about your field, you're able to accumulate work experience. It doesn't matter what school you have done your degree in. It simply doesn't matter. Of course, if you go to Harvard or Yale, then yeah, sure, you might have some doors might open for you. But as a basic principle, no one wants to work with anyone who doesn't know what they're doing, and no one wants to work with a-holes. So, it doesn't matter if you go to Aalto University if you don't know what you're doing and you're lazy as F and you don't study and you don't want to work. So, in a sense, any school is great as long as you work hard. So, plus, in a sense, in Finland, when you apply for jobs, in Finland, employers really don't care from which school you come from. They only care about your ability to actually do the job. So if you for example come from Aalto University and you're competing for a spot or for a job with a person who comes from the University of Vasa, and you know, unless you're absolutely equally, you know, unless you're almost exact clones with the difference of one being from Aalto and one being from Vasa, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that whether or not you're proficient in what you're doing. For example, let me give you an example. For example, especially in the field of finance. In our family, we have a family friend who actually studied at the University of Vasa, studying finance and finance as his major, accounting as his minor. This is 30 years ago, or 35, 40 years ago. And nowadays he's actually working as a very high level manager in New York for a big bank as their basically equity manager. That's a really big position. That's, you know, there's not that many people from Finland who actually are able to get into that high of positions in New York, especially in the, you know, international banks. So it doesn't matter in the end what school you're in, because if you are able to, you know, do your job, you're proficient at what you do, you're better at what you do than other people, you know, every single door is going to be open for you anyways. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, Vasa is a really cool city. If you're able to get admitted there, I would personally be completely happy studying at Vasa. Yeah, if I would have to apply again, you know. Cool. Anyway, the next question comes from Meg from Romania, and Meg is starting school this semester at Arkkada, University of Applied Sciences in Helsinki, doing a bachelor's in business. Nice, awesome. And the question is, I'd like to know if it's possible to do a bachelor's at the University of Applied Sciences and then do a master's at a university which isn't a University of Applied Sciences. The answer to this question is yes. You can absolutely do a master's at a university if you have done a bachelor's at a University of Applied Sciences. However, do note that after you have graduated as bachelor's from a University of Applied Sciences, you have to separately apply for a master's program in a university. Again, as I spoke earlier in the beginning of the stream, if you get admitted to do a bachelor's at a university, you're automatically also admitted to do a master's in the same school after you graduate as bachelor's. So basically, this means is that you know, once you submit your bachelor's thesis and it's, you know, completed, you can walk directly into the master's classes without anyone asking any questions. You basically just have to fill one digital form saying that, okay, I want to continue for my master's, submit, and that's it. There's no one is going to question it. That's automatic. However, if you do a bachelor's at a University of Applied Sciences, you have to separately apply for a master's program at a university, and there is no guarantee that you're going to be admitted because you have to, again, compete for the spot with other people. While if you again have a bachelor's from a university, you're automatically, you already have a spot saved up for your master's degree in the same school. So if you have not yet applied for a school in Finland and you want to do a master's, then I recommend that you should apply to a university because it's easier to do a master's afterward. However, if you already have been admitted to Arkkada University of Applied Sciences, then don't cancel it. Just study there and then apply afterwards separately. Cool. All right. The next question comes from Eric from South Africa. And Eric has been posting questions week after week for a couple of weeks now, which is really cool. And as a reminder for everyone, Eric is actually not coming to study in Finland, but to work in the field of IT. And the question is, I've read that people took Finnish courses and were taught written Finnish. However, some claim that they couldn't use what they learned because the spoken and written Finnish are quite different. Is that true? And if so, should I focus on learning spoken Finnish first? Excellent question, Eric. That's a really good question. And this depends a bit on the person that you're asking it from. My philosophy is that you should learn both at the same time. So what we're talking about here is that the spoken Finnish is slightly different from written Finnish. So basically, when you're taught written Finnish or Finnish, you're taught the official Finnish as it is spoken according to the grammar. So the grammar-based Finnish or the written Finnish and spoken Finnish, they're not different in per se. It's basically just having It's basically just having a slang per se, or in a sense. So if you speak to people on the street in written Finnish, everyone will understand you 110%. However, it sounds a bit funny because basically the only people who speak written Finnish are old people who want to be, who want to speak Finnish properly, who want to be proper. It's a bit like a, posh English versus, English that actually normal people speak, I guess. It's a dialogue per se, in a sense. So yeah, learning, written Finnish is of course very important because everything that is written is also written in the written Finnish. However, if you want to have, if you want to learn how to use dialogue in Finnish, then you would need to learn a bit more about the spoken Finnish as well. So I don't think that you should prioritize one over the other. I think that you should learn both at the same time. And actually, talking of this, so let's see. Yeah. So if you haven't heard of this, Alexi himself, so from the YouTube channel, Alexi himself, videos about Finnish culture, he actually has a course where he teaches spoken Finnish. And I think that his approach is really, really cool because, his way of approaching this is that he approaches the language spoken Finnish first. So I think that if you're already studying Finnish, I think that Alex's course is a very good way of supplementing your educational material as well. So if you're interested, Alexi has the course in Teachable, and I'm actually going to link it into the live chat right now. So if you're interested, just go and check it out. And if you're interested, you can just jump into the course. I've actually gone through the course myself, or I've gone through the course material myself, and I really think that it's really good. I think that Alexi has a really nice touch to the education. So there you go. So that's now in the chat if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, so focus on spoken and written at the same time because it's important to learn the grammar as well, and while also teaching Finnish through speech and through listening. That's a very good way to do it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, actually, Eric saying that was about to start his course. Yeah, I highly recommend it. He has actually gotten a I can't speak any English apparently, all over the place. So he has actually gotten a lot of really good feedback specifically about his approach. So I think that's really cool. Yeah, the next question also comes from Eric, and the question is: the Migri, or the Finnish Immigration Service, states that spouses of EU citizens who are not EU citizens themselves need a residence permit or visa to enter Finland. Migri also says that they might not need one, as visas are given on a case-by-case basis. I contacted Migri, or the, again, Finnish Immigration Service, to get more information, but they haven't replied yet. Do you have any experience with that? Yeah, Eric, unfortunately, I don't have any experience with this, and specifically kind of referring to what you said, all the residence permit applications in Finland are processed on a case-by-case basis. Specifically for this reason, I will not comment on this question any more than just spam the Finnish Immigration Service. And especially, I would recommend that what you should do, I think that I told you this, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they might be a bit slow answering you via email. So one way for you to actually get in touch with them is if you actually check out their service hours, of course, local time Helsinki or in Finland, I recommend that you actually check out the customer service chat. So just let me move myself out of the way. So customer service chat, and when you're actually in the chat, this is basically a bot. Just right here, I would like to speak to a human. And then they will most likely say that there's no one here at this. Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have any human colleagues with me at the moment. However, if you're actually visiting the site during the office hours, which are really bad, but we have to live due or make due, you will be able to chat with them and maybe hopefully get an answer. If not, one other way for you to do it is simply call them. Of course, it's going to be a bit expensive if you call from South Africa, unfortunately. But in my experience, I usually get better service when I just call them directly and push them a bit, trying to, suck out an answer from them live. So yeah, that's uh, the immigration service has gotten a lot of criticism lately because of their very slow service that they give on the website, which sucks, unfortunately. I would like them to do a better job, but it's what it is right now. Let's see. The next question. The next question comes actually from Eric as well, and just saying, I hope that you will continue this kind of work. Can only speak for myself, but you have helped tremendously so far. I owe you a beer or two. Thanks, man. That's really appreciated. I will definitely take up on that offer once you've actually arrived into the country successfully, and once we have gotten rid of the whole current situation with COVID. So thank you very much. And of course, this is the reason why I'm here. I know that all you guys are actually feeling quite a lot of pain about the different things, immigration, applications to universities, actually choosing a good university for yourself, especially if you don't if you're not from Europe. It's very, very hard for you to understand the context and Finland in general. So this is the reason why I'm doing this channel. So of course, if I'm bringing value to you guys, the ways to pay back is hit the thumbs up button. If you have a friend who wants to study in Finland or work in Finland, tell your friend. Share the love, because my job here is to make the information as simple as possible. Again, I started the whole channel because I had a bunch of international friends from school who started studies at the same time with me, and they struggled. Many of them struggled a lot because they didn't have the same kind of platform to find the information. Rather, they had to actually look for the information by themselves. And I really felt the pain that they had to go through. So I really want to make this easier for everyone. Plus, I think that I'm kind of trying to do my part in terms of the Finnish economy, because we do need more of you guys to actually come to Finland, get a degree, and start contributing into the society by working. And settling down and integrating into the society, and I'm just doing my part. So cool. Yeah, Harry Lau saying as well that I'm taking Alex's course, and that's really a really practical and helpful piece. Yeah, definitely. I really recommend the course from Alexi. It's great. By the way, if you're actually going to take the course from Alexi, just give him some love from me. Let him know that you came from here. And we will have a beer with Alexi later during the summer. All right, the next question from the forum comes from Taran from India. And Taran is still in high school and also is a regular on the channel, which is cool. But Taran is interested in doing a master's in biotechnology, which is really, really nice. And the question is, there is a rise in cases for racial discrimination against non-original people in Finland. I'm sorry, is there a rise in cases? In cases, I have not heard of such any kind of a rise in any kind of discrimination cases in Finland against non-Finnish people. Of course, it's easy for me to say because I'm a Finnish national, a young white male, so it's easy for me to say. Although I do have a bunch of international friends, I basically started my studies at the university in an international tutoring group. So we had half Finnish people, half internationals. And all of my international friends have done really, really well, despite coming from all around the world, from Vietnam, from the US, from Korea. There's people from, a good friend of mine comes from Iran, came here as an asylum seeker at a time, years ago. And everyone has done really well for themselves. And I haven't heard of these kind of cases from them, but of course, good for me to say about this. I don't want to downplay anyone's experiences if anyone has them. But for example, on the other hand, in the news, there hasn't been any kind of indication about any kind of rise in discrimination. There's a-holes and idiots and racists in every single country in the world. There's no denying that. But in general, I think that Finland is a very welcoming country. We have a very international country, especially in our community, especially in the big cities. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to get you guys come here, and I'm trying to make the integration into the culture easier. So yeah, hard. It's really hard for me to answer the question. My honest opinion is no. There is no rise in any kind of discrimination. But again, that's just my biased experience. But good question, a very important question nonetheless. Cool. The next question comes from Jayantha, who comes from Sri Lanka and is starting school this semester, doing a master's in software development at Tampere University, which is awesome. And the question is, we have to show the means of support / funds for the 2 years while applying for a residence permit. I'm applying for a residence permit with my family. Is it okay to have funds in one bank account, basically my own bank account, or should I put part of my funds to my wife's bank account and show it separately along her visa application? Yeah, that's actually a good question. What I've understood is that you need to have personal funds that you are able to use. So basically, when you apply for a residence permit, you have to have the funds to support yourself on your private bank account that you have sole access to. So for example, since you are applying for your residence permits with your wife separately, you most likely, as I've understood it, you have to have separate bank accounts that is not a shared bank account, and you both have to have enough funds for both of you to support yourself for the 2 years that the residence permit is valid. However, how you need to show the funds, it depends on whether or not both of you are coming here as students. If you're the only one who's coming here as a student and your wife is coming here to work, then she's actually able to work and show the ability to pay for her living costs through that work. However, my understanding is that you also need to have a signed work agreement before you actually can apply for a residence permit to work. I think that Eric can actually talk to this a bit because he is going through the process right now, or trying to go through the process. However, if you both are coming to study in Finland, yes, then you need to have those funds already on your bank account when you apply for the residence permit on separate accounts. Yeah, good question though. By the way, guys, I'm soon going to run out of questions. So if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, please post your questions into the Google form. There's only a couple of them left. I'm going to run out of them soon. So again, if you want to get your question answered live, now is a really good time or moment to actually post your question into the Google form and get it answered during today or today's live stream. The next question comes from Sakib Tahmid Fahim. I'm sorry, Sakib Tahmid Fahim. And I hope that I pronounce your name at least close to correctly. Sakib Tahmid Fahim, I think is the correct pronunciation. Please correct me if I'm that was not the correct way to pronounce your name. Anyway, Sakib comes from Bangladesh, and he's starting school this semester, doing a master's in mining engineering. That's awesome. That's really cool. Not actually sure if you know about this, and maybe because you apply to study mining engineering, but for everyone else, Finland actually has a really big gold mine in northern Finland, which produces a huge amount of gold as well as other minerals as well. So Finland is actually a big mining country, or we have a mining industry. The one thing is that the mining industry in Finland is heavily regulated, and we have a very heavy focus on nature conservation. So for example, there's been a lot of international mining companies trying to come to do mining in Lapland. However, there's a lot of national parks in Lapland, and they are very heavily restricted on these kind of operations, so that the mining operations don't ruin, for example, waterways, because we have the cleanest water in the world. We don't want that to be contaminated by mining operation. So actually doing a degree in mining engineering in Finland, I think is going to be very good, because the level of education here is excellent. Cool. Yeah, anyway, the question is to find an odd job in restaurants or delivery companies, should I go directly to the manager and talk with him personally or by phone or applying in the companies directly? Yeah, great question. So basically, what he's talking here, most likely, what Sagib is talking here is, part-time jobs in the service industry. The reason why we're talking about, part-time jobs in the service industry is that when you apply for your first jobs in Finland, of course, he's going to study a master's degree, so it's a bit different. You might actually be able to already get some kind of basic level jobs in your field. However, especially if you're coming to Finland to study a bachelor's degree, it's better that you start with basic service level jobs to start building your work experience in Finland. I think that that's the easiest way for you to do. And so there's a question between restaurants and delivery companies and whether you should call or meet the manager directly. It depends. So if you are applying for a job in restaurants or bars or grocery stores or whatever, then yes, you should just walk in and ask if there's any kind of a restaurant manager there, if they have a shift manager there, and whether you could talk to them directly about potential job opportunities, part-time jobs. However, if you want to, for example, work as a food delivery person, there's no point of contacting the company direct or the managers directly because they have separate application or some kind of application process. Let's see. So for example, Volt, WOLT is actually the biggest food delivery company in Finland. # not sponsored. It's a great company to work for. And a lot of students, for example, work for Volt as food delivery people or couriers as they call them. And basically just, Google Volt food delivery jobs. And then you can apply to become a Volt delivery person. So you don't have to contact anyone here. You can just visit the website and go through here. And actually, a funny thing, there was actually a video made. It's unfortunately only in Finnish, but there was a video made about a Volt delivery person who is, I think, the most efficient food delivery person in Finland. He's making a huge amount of money per month. Of course, working really, really long hours, but he has basically created himself a system through which he's able to deliver massive amounts of portions per day using a one-wheelie, the electric one-wheelie, and he's actually making a lot of money doing this. So yeah, I think that food delivery companies like Volt are an excellent way to start your career if you just want something to as a job in the beginning, especially. Again, Volt, great company. It's actually a Finnish company. It's one of the fastest growing Finnish startups in the country. They're actually going international really, really fast. I have a couple of friends working there, so which is really cool. Yeah. Oh, Bavia saying, actually, sorry, that video is in English too. If that is true, I actually need to check it out. Sorry, then I was mistaken. Let's see. Oh, sorry, that's actually true. My apologies. Bavia, thank you so much for correcting me. Actually, if you just, guys, check this out. If you go to YouTube and check out this, earning 8,000 euros per month from food delivery. That's a crazy amount of money to make in food delivery. I have no idea how long hours this guy is making, but this guy, I can see him almost every single day going through past our house, delivering stuff. And he's using this really cool one-wheelie to actually deliver the portions really, really quickly inside the center of Helsinki. So he has a really cool system. So actually check out this video. I think I could just link it to the chat. What? Just a second. Just a moment. Yeah, Eric saying 8,000 euros per month. Yep, before taxes, of course, and he's going to pay a lot of taxes because that's, the median income in Finland is around 3,500 euros. 8,000 euros is like, manager level salary in a publicly traded company. So that's a lot of money. I've never done even close to 8,000 euros. I've never even done half of that. So that's an incredible amount of money per month to do. So, don't take that as a benchmark, because I'm not sure if people are able to achieve that in general, but I think that's a really interesting story. And, of course, if you guys want to look into this a bit more. Cool. By the way, I'm sorry I forgot. I did not see Jet Gotti with one more super sticker with a funny face, and I think that this face is something like, no, sorry. I think that's close. I think that's close to the to the face. Thanks, man. I do appreciate it once again with a super sticker. That's highly appreciated. Yeah, definitely. Food delivery can be a full-time job. You just have to figure out a system for it, because, of course, if you have your own car, it's going to be quite expensive. If you, for example, having your own bicycle is good, but then delivering food during the winter is going to be a bit of an issue. And I think that this guy has a very, very cool system. So check it out. Yeah, Bavia saying actually that he's the fastest delivery person in Finland. 12 deliveries in 47 minutes. That's crazy. So apparently he knows exactly where to accept the deliveries, where to go. He knows the entire city, as his own pockets. So yeah, he has very much optimized the whole job. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Going off topic. Going back to the questions in the form. The next question comes from Prashant by Duel, by Duel. I'm sorry. And Prashant comes from Nepal and is as well regular on the channel. And Prashant is starting a bachelor's in mechanical engineering in the upcoming semester, which is really cool. And actually saying, hi Oliver, I just got a study place in HAMK and Savonia University of Applied Sciences. What do you suggest? Which one should I accept? However, taking account that Savonia has a 50% scholarship too. Congratulations, man. That's absolutely awesome. Congratulations on being admitted to both schools, and congratulations on being offered a 50% scholarship at Savonia. That's absolutely awesome, and it's going to be a lot of help if you actually decide to go there. So the question is about between basically Savonia and HAMK. That's a really, really good question. I actually don't have any kind of preference here. I know that both are excellent schools. However, I don't have friends from either of them. So I would say that that's a really good question. In this case, I would actually Savonia, first of all, is in Kuopio. Kuopio is a really cool city. My girlfriend's family actually comes from Kuopio. My mother's family comes from Kuopio as well, or my grandmother comes from Kuopio. It's a beautiful city. It's a really, really beautiful city. And I know that the Savonia school is really, really good as well. So I would actually say, based on my limited experience on the cities as well as the schools, considering that you have a 50% scholarship to Savonia, I would definitely consider accepting that if the program is something that you're really interested in. However, HAMK is also a great school as well. But considering that you don't have a scholarship from there, I don't want to give you a direct answer here, but I would say that having that 50% scholarship is definitely something which is a good thing as well. Yeah, actually, people here in the chat, Jet, Koti, as well as Bavia, both are saying that HAMK. If you guys can elaborate a bit more why specifically HAMK, that would be awesome. Again, I have a very limited experience with these schools. So, but yeah, once again, congratulations, man. That is absolutely awesome. Anyway, the next question comes from Aaron from Kurdistan, and Aaron is applying to HAMK to do a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And Aaron is saying, hey Oliver, it's been a while since I last checked your lives. No worries. And I don't have any questions, but I'd like to give you, I'd like you to give me your feedback about HAMK University of Applied Sciences and their scholarships. yeah, kind of going back what I just said, I have very limited experience about HUMC, but I can definitely check out the scholarship that they have. You had a direct link, so let's see. So I actually think that I might know what you are actually talking about. Yeah, this was really interesting. So the scholarship that they use, I thought that this actually sounded familiar for some reason. Yeah, so HUMC has a very interesting scholarship program, which is actually based on your Finnish language skills. So basically, if you are bachelor's degree students have the opportunity to gain level A2 by taking part in the Finnish language studies offered by HUMC and studying independently. If you're able to achieve A2 level, you're actually granted a 3,200 euro scholarship, which is really, really cool. So can be awarded with the scholarships 2 times during their studies based on their level of Finnish language, and provided that their studies progress with 60 credits per academic year. By the way, 60 credits is the normal pace, so that's not a fast pace, that's the normal one. But yeah, so actually this is a really good option as well, so I would take this into account as well. So I think that, you know, that's a really, really good option as well. Yeah, all right, cool. So Aaron is saying that the question is from last week. That's fine as well. For some reason, it's double here. For some reason, I have no idea. Because I've already gone past questions from last week. But yeah, you know, I don't know. But yeah, the scholarship, language scholarship from HUMC is definitely super interesting, because that's also something that you can definitely achieve if you just study hard. Cool. Meras, yeah, definitely I'm answering all the questions that have been posted into the Google form. So people actually posted a bunch of new questions. I was about to run out, but a lot of people have now posted new questions. So if you have not yet posted your question into the Google form, please post your question specifically into the Google form. And once again, if you post your question into the live chat, then it is highly likely that I'm going to miss your question. So, because I have to, talk to the camera and look at the questions in the form, and then look at the chat here on the side. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you post your question into the live chat, it is highly likely that I'm going to miss it. Cool. By the way, David John saying this is boring. Play Fortnite now. Sure, that's fine. If you don't want to hang out, that's completely fine with me. Of course, the whole point here with the live stream is to answer your guys' questions. If that's something that, is boring for you, that's completely fine with me. Of course, if you don't get any value out of this, yeah, sure, you don't have to hang out. No hard feelings. Anyway, the next question from the forum comes from Joe from Malta. Again, and the question is, hi, which is the better business school pertaining to Masters in Finance, Vaasa, Oulu, or Jyväskylä? Again, they're all really good schools. Personally, I would go with Vaasa because of a combination of the school, the student culture, and the city. Oulu is awesome as well. Jyväskylä I don't like the city as much as Vaasa or Oulu. So my personal preference would be Vaasa, but of course you have to make the choice yourself. Yeah, that's basically all I can say about the topic right now. But yeah, hopefully that gives you at least some more context to the topic. Yeah, the next question comes from Moha from Jordan. Cool, that's awesome. Welcome, Moha, to the stream. Awesome to have people from Jordan as well. And Moha is starting school this semester, doing a master's in nutrition at the University of Helsinki. Nice. All right, and the question is, I got accepted to study human nutrition and food-related behavior in Helsinki University. Sadly, I was not awarded a scholarship. Is there any other sources for funding for international students for doing a master's degree? First of all, before I answer the question, huge congratulations on being admitted to study at the University of Helsinki. That already in itself is a huge feat. Getting into the University of Helsinki is not easy. You have to consider that it's the best research university in Finland. meaning that the percentage of people that are admitted from the applicants is very low. So, tap yourself into the back just on the basis of being having been admitted there. So, again, congratulations. That's awesome. So to your question about additional sources for funding. So this is a very difficult question for me to answer because basically my normal answer here is no. Unfortunately, there are not that many other additional sources for funding for international students. The reason being that the clear majority of scholarships in Finland for non-European Union students are granted by the universities themselves. Most other additional funding sources are actually for PhD students, and those come from other third-party organizations like non-profits, different foundations, private foundations that support academic research, and there are really no good scholarship options that I would recommend. I actually wrote a long answer about this topic to another viewer in one of his comments in the videos earlier today, and what I told him is that there are some other scholarship options as well. For example, some student organizations do award small scholarships to students that do really well in their school. However, the problem with those are that they're completely random. They're all spread around all over the place. It's really hard to find them because they are posted, information about them is posted usually on social media, on individual, organization web pages or social media pages. For example, one of the banks that I'm a customer of, they have a scholarship that they have for students. But the problem is that that's not annual. They don't have it each year, which means that it's impossible to tell you when to look for those kind of scholarships. And the only thing that you can do is basically keep your eyes and ears open and just ask around all the time. However, having said this, there is one option that you can go through, which is scholarship portal. So just Google scholarship portal, and it's scholarshipportal.com. The problem here is that the scholarship portal is basically international or global. So they have scholarships for schools all over the world, and these scholarships are from different organizations. The problem here is that if you, for example, want to study in, Finland, I haven't ever seen any specific scholarships that are just for Finland. For example, if you, let's see, that's postgraduate and it's not even for Finland. Let's see, that's for PhD as well. These are for technical universities, so it's all over the place. Most of the scholarships that they have here are either for a specific field, or for example, they're only for women, or for PhDs, or for people who come from don't come from wealthy backgrounds, basically. So I would keep an eye out for scholarship portal, but I would also not keep my hopes up because they are very rare. It's very rare to actually, find a good scholarship that you could apply to, and if you find one, they're very competitive. So it's a bit of a it's a bit of a problem here. Also, you have to take into account that it's when you come to study in Finland, of course you can try to finance your studies by working. However, there's a couple of problems here. First of all, when you come to Finland, during the first year, the Finnish Immigration Service is actually not allowing you to fund your life by working. You are actually, when you apply for a residence permit, they will ask you for the source of your funds to allow you to live in Finland. And if you tell them that you are going to look for a job for the first year, they're not going to give you a residence permit because you already have to have the funds on your account before you apply for a residence permit. And after the first year, you can pay for your living in Finland with work. However, especially in your case, in the University of Helsinki, the tuition fees are very high, and the problem is that you can only work part-time. So paying for your living cost, around 600 euros a month, plus for your tuition fee with a part-time job, is not possible, especially in the beginning of your studies. It's, you know, the math just isn't there. It's not possible. So you have to find additional sources. So I don't want to say this, and please, you know, do your own decision. I'm not a financial advisor. One option is student loans. I would prefer people not to take student loans because I think that they are not, they're often not worth it. But for example, I do have personally, I do have some student loans from Finland. The thing is that in Finland, student loans are actually government backed or guaranteed, and the interest rates are currently, I think, 0 because of the economic situation. So it's a special situation here. But yeah, again, sorry for going off the deep end and not giving you a direct answer here. But I hope that this gave you a bit of context to the issue. And it's unfortunately it's not a simple case. It's not a yes or no issue or you know, just go here and get a scholarship. Yeah. Cool. All right. First of all, let's just acknowledge 2 more super stickers from Rishi and Jed Kotti once again. Thanks, man. Thanks, dudes. That's highly appreciated. Once again, you guys are basically, you know, self-funding my entire channel, you know, if we look at it this way. Thanks, man. Thank you, Rishi. Thanks, Jed, for the support once again. You know, wink for you, Rishi and Jed. Banana peel. Really, I know how am I supposed to emote that? I think I just need a basket of fruit, and every time you guys, you know, give me a super sticker of you know, an apple, I have to start eating an apple or something. I don't know. Weird, but yeah, appreciate it as always. All right, there's a couple of comments about the questions in the form. First of all, Bavia asking, why isn't my question coming up? Haven't I gotten it? And Meras is asking as well. I asked in Google form a while ago, but I am being patient and waiting for my turn to come. That's highly appreciated, guys. So basically, what I have here in the Google Forms is the faster you post your question, the faster I'm going to get to your question. Currently, just to be completely transparent, I have 14 questions in the queue here, and you know, considering that it takes me 5 minutes to from a couple of minutes to 10 minutes to answer each question, you know, you can do the math on you know, if you just post your question, it's going to take a while for me to get to your question. However, if you post your question half an hour ago, it's coming up, you know, really soon. But yeah, so please be patient. If you posted your question into the form, it is coming up at some point. And just as a disclaimer, I'm not able to get to every single question every single week. Depending on how many people are live, because I go through, you know, I live stream usually from 2 to 3 hours. So I can only take, you know, so many questions. However, if you're not able to get an answer to your question today, you will get the answer next week. So I start the next week, the live stream always with the questions from previous week that were left over. So I will answer your question if it's in the Google form. So just, you know, be patient. But as a disclaimer, if you post your question into the live chat, it is highly likely that you will not get an answer because I'm not able to keep up with all the chat and the questions there. It's not just possible for me because I'm, you know, trying to keep up with the camera and you know, talk about the issues here. So there. But yeah, I do appreciate the patience. Moving on to get to your question at some point. The next question comes from Lavanya Janam, again, from India, living in Finland since 4 years, which is really nice. And Lavanya is starting school this semester at the Lab University, LAB, doing a bachelor's in international business. Awesome. And the question is, I received a place, so got admitted at LAB University, and I want to know more about the student card and housing system. First of all, once again, congratulations on getting admitted. Lab is actually a really cool school. They actually just updated the entire school there, and I think that the concept that they have is really great. So congratulations. I think that you are going to enjoy yourself at the university. So the student cards and housing system in Finland, they're broad topics, and I actually do have videos about all of these issues on the channel already. So I can actually show you the videos and you can watch them later after the stream. However, to cover the topics really quickly. First of all, student cards. So in Finland, we have In Finland, we have something that is called a student card. It's basically either a physical card, like a credit card, or you can also use a digital app to authenticate yourself as a student. As a university student, you are entitled to a number of different discounts and benefits that you can use if you have a student card. For example, you can in Helsinki, you get 50% discount from public transportations. In some other cities, it's 40%. But nationwide, I think you get 40% discount from all train travel. In addition, you get discounts in different bars, clubs, stores, online stores. You get discounts on what else? For example, if you have when you get your student card, you get a discount in the university cafeteria or the restaurant there for student lunch. If you don't have a student card, you don't get the discount, and it's over double the price. So it's really, really a good idea to get a student card. So where to get a student card? There's a couple of ways to do it, but what I would recommend you to do, hashtag not sponsored, is go to frank.fi /en. Frank is the biggest provider of student cards in Finland. It's a non-profit. It's owned by student organizations in Finland, itself. And basically, you can get either a physical card or or use their digital mobile app to authenticate yourself. The cool thing is that the digital student card is completely free. The physical card does cost something, but it's really not that expensive. In addition, if you want to have payment options in your card, you can actually get a contactless payment on your student card itself. So, for example, when you pay for your student lunch in the student cafeteria, you just tap the payment services with your card, and that will take into account your student discount and pay for your lunch immediately. So that's really cool. The cool thing is that if you, for example, start using different contactless payment apps that you can have on your mobile phone, or basically banking services, those also integrate with the mobile app, so that the student mobile app will authenticate yourself as a student. And then when you pay for your lunch with your phone, with a contactless payment option on your phone, you can just tap it right here like this, and then it will authenticate yourself as a student, give you the discount, and pay for it as well. So that's student cards. Really highly recommend that every single one of you who comes to study in Finland get a student card. You're going to save so much money. All right, second, student apartments. So Finland has a lot of really, really good student housing providers, and what kind of a provider you are able to use depends on the city. However, there's basically a couple of rules of thumb in terms of who provide students with housing in Finland. Either they're third party, usually non-profit organizations that are owned, at least partially owned by the student organizations themselves. So we have a lot of different student unions, student organizations in Finland that are basically the advocate for students in different universities. And those organizations, because many of them are really old, in Finland, in Helsinki, we, for example, have multiple student unions that are over 100 years old. Those have accumulated a lot of capital and money, and they have actually invested a lot of that money into student housing so that their members could get affordable housing. So in your case, what I would do is basically Google Lab University. Because the problem is that the Lab University has multiple campuses. So what I would just do is Lab University student housing and check out the student accommodation page. You have to take into account that the university itself does not provide any kind of housing for anyone. The universities in Finland, to repeat myself, universities in Finland have no dorms or any kind of student apartments. They're always third-party organizations or, for example, student unions that have the apartments. In this case, for example, please see Oppilastalo Oy Apartments, the website. This is most likely the best option for you in terms of student apartments as a lab student, the English language page right here. The one thing, a couple of things to note about student apartments. Sorry for everyone else, I'm ranting about this, but this applies to every single one of you, and it's super important because if you don't apply for student apartments, you're going to pay yourself sick if you get an apartment from the private market. Student apartments in Finland, as a rule of thumb, are at least half the price of private market apartments. They could be even cheaper. So you save a lot of money if you get a student apartment. Second, or the super important thing to know, is that you need to apply for student accommodation now, as soon as you're allowed to. So different student apartment providers have different rules on when you can actually apply for their apartments. For example, in Helsinki, in my case, there would be two different organizations that I could apply for. The Aalto University Student Union has apartments, and they have a rule that you can apply for their apartments as soon as you receive your admission letter. The reason is that they have very long queues. However, the other provider in Helsinki is HOAS, which is one of the sponsors of the channel. I've been living in their apartments for basically throughout my studies, #not sponsored. And they have a rule that you can apply for their apartments at earliest 4 months before you actually need to move in. So if you, for example, need to move in half a year, you are not allowed to, the system is not going to allow you to apply for their apartments, before 4 months, earlier than 4 months before that you need it. So there. All right, so here was a long answer. Here was a long answer to your question about the student cards and housing. One more thing is that if you want to learn more, and I recommend that you learn more about this topic, I have multiple videos about both of these topics on the channel. So, for example, go to my channel, and on the channel page, go down to the playlist Student Apartments in Finland. I have a couple of videos showing different kind of student apartments. I have a video about how to apply for student apartments. A disclaimer, this is specifically for HOAS, but what you need to know is that the things that you need to provide for the different student apartment providers are basically the same. The systems that you use are different. And then I talk about the cost of student housing in Finland. So check them out. In addition, if you search for student card, I have a video explaining student cards in Finland, what they are, how to apply for them. And I also have a video about student benefits in Finland, explaining what kind of benefits you can actually get if you get yourself a student card. There. Long answer. I need a bit of, I need a drink. But hopefully that answered your question and helped other people as well. Cool. All right. Eric, thank you so much for the super chat. Actually, I have to check that out. What is that? ZAR. I think that's your Logan. Right. South African Rand. Thank you so much for the super chat. That is highly appreciated. Thanks so much for the support, for everyone who chooses to actually support the channel. That's very much appreciated. And hopefully I will be able to answer more of your questions during the stream, and of course next week as well. Talking of which, the next question comes from Aaron, again from Kurdistan, and the question is, what do you think about HAMK University, since it's one of the few universities that teach mechanical engineering in Finland? Yeah, so HAMK is a great school, and I definitely recommend it if you find a program from there that you find interesting. However, I have to say that HAMK is actually not one of the only universities teaching mechanical engineering. First of all, you have to take into account that HAMK is a University of Applied Sciences, not a university. And if you look at university level education, there are multiple places where you can actually study mechanical engineering. The first example being, Aalto University once again. Aalto, actually, for example, we have a technology startup that I'm working in as a founder, and one of our founders is actually a Mexican guy who has a degree from Aalto in mechanical engineering, and he's really darn good at what he does. So there are multiple other schools where you can also study mechanical engineering. I know that it's a bit difficult to find the different schools, I've been actually thinking about making a video about the top schools in different fields in Finland, and I most likely will start making those quite soon because this is something that people have been requesting. So, but yeah, HUMK is a definitely really great school if you want to do a university. If you want to do a degree in a University of Applied Sciences, HUMK is highly recommended. Hey, Meras Morshed, thank you so much, man, for the €5 super chat. That is highly appreciated. Thanks, man, so much for supporting the channel. Meras saying, I really appreciate your good work and hoping one day meet you in person. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. That's highly appreciated. And actually, to the point, I have been thinking about organizing some kind of a subscriber or community meetup in Helsinki once we get rid of COVID and we're it's safe to meet people again. For example, I think it would be really cool to have some kind of a meetup day where we actually meet up in the morning. I walk you guys around Helsinki in my favorite spots. We can visit a couple of historical spots as well. Have a couple of beers in different restaurants that I like, and then, for example, if some people want to, we could, for example, go for a dinner at the end of the day, and just have a chat and network basically during the day, because I've been emphasizing for weeks and months that the importance of networking for you guys. So I think that would be really cool to organize at some point if you guys, that is something that you guys wish or hope for, and if someday we're going to get rid of COVID. Talking of which, if I'm able to organize this kind of a meetup in Helsinki, I'm going to announce it in Discord. I will not be talking about it on YouTube. Rather, I will be talking about it in the Discord server. So if you are not a member in the Discord server that we have, link in the description box below. But yeah, Meras, thank you so much, man. It's highly appreciated. The next question comes from Lavanya again. And the question is, can I apply to a master's degree outside of Finland or in Finland after completing a University of Applied Sciences in Finland? My understanding is that, well, of course, first of all, you can apply for a master's degree in Finland after you have graduated as a bachelor's from a University of Applied Sciences in Finland. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. The question whether or not you can actually apply for a master's outside Finland afterwards, don't know. I would guess that depends on the university that you would be applying for. I don't want to say yes or no because I'm not 100% sure, but my gut feeling is that why not? Is there any reason why you couldn't? So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the answer that I would give. The next question comes from Pier Francesco, who comes from Italy. And by the way, Pier, it's awesome to have you here. Welcome to the stream as well. And Pierre is applying to Aalto University to do a master's in automation system engineering. Nice, that's awesome. I really love automations. Anything that has to do with automation, AI, or pleasing our robot overlords in the future. That's basically the future that we're going to live in. Anyhow, yeah. So the question is, hi, if I use HOAS to get a room, applying just short the beginning, so April, how much time do they get to confirm the apartment? That's a good question. So how much time do they give you to confirm the apartment, or the other way around? So if I understood the question correctly, please correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. So the question is, how much time do you have to confirm that you want the apartment after HOAS offers you one? It's usually just a couple of weeks. The reason being that the queues there's always a lot of people in the queue. And if you're not able or willing to confirm it in just a couple of weeks, then you will basically forfeit the apartment for someone else. However, my recommendation is always that if and when you are offered a student apartment, doesn't matter from where and by whom, you should always accept the first offer, no matter what the location is. The reason being that if you don't accept the first offer that you're given, you will not be offered a second apartment during the same year. So you would need to wait for another year to apply for an apartment. So it's not something that you can just pick and choose. And don't start being picky about it, because then you will not get a student apartment and you will have to get an apartment in the private sector, and it's you have to wait for quite a while. So yeah, around a couple of weeks usually that they that you have to wait for. I'm sorry, that you have time to confirm the apartment. Bavia, just a second. I'm actually gonna check the Excel really quickly. So just let me hold on for a second. I'll just check if I actually have the question in the form or not. Just a moment. Yeah, Bavia, I do have your question. It's actually coming up in just a second. There's only actually it's coming up after the second next question. So just, you know, again, patience, please. It's coming up. There were a bunch of people that were here before you, so you know, who posted the questions. But yeah, one more question and then yours is coming up. So yeah, once again, patience, please. All right, the next question comes from D. Say boy Hawkip, who comes from India, and he is coming to Finland for work, not for school. Cool, and basically coming here to teach in a primary school. Nice. And the question is, what is the educational qualification requirement to be an English teacher in Finland? Good question. I don't know. My honest answer here is I don't. Yeah, I actually don't know. That's a really good question. The problem, what I do know is that if you want to be a primary school teacher, you know, a class teacher, you need to have a master's degree in early education or early stage education. However, becoming a English teacher, that I do not know. The problem is I actually don't even know where to direct you because I don't. I've actually previously tried to. I've actually tried to previously look into this because a lot of people have been asking me about this. I haven't been able to find the correct answer here. So unfortunately, I don't know. What I would recommend you to do is to actually contact the university that teaches. For example, the University of Helsinki, they teach education or degrees in education. So for example, if you contact the university and ask them about this, I think that they might be able to give you an answer. It might take a while for them to answer because it's not about the admission, or the question is not about applying to the school. So just be patient with it. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not able to give you an answer. Hey, Alexi, what's up, man? What's up, dude? Awesome to have you here as well. Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Asian Hun is asking or saying, on that HOAS note, is there some online sources that explain areas in Helsinki? It's very confusing. Yes, there is. And he is in the chat. Alex is explaining things about different areas in Finland. Alex is actually going live every single week, just walking around Helsinki, answering people's questions and showing the, you know, city of Helsinki to people. It's really, really awesome. You should definitely check the live streams, previous live streams from Alex's channel. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Also, I've been actually, I'm going to start making, you know, videos that explain the different areas, districts in Finland during the summer, but not right now. So it's going to take a while. But Alexi already has a really big archive of videos about the different areas in Finland. So yeah, definitely check out Alex's videos. By the way, Alex, there was a couple of people asking about Finnish courses, and I referred them to your courses. So actually, if you want to talk shortly about the spoken Finnish language courses in the chat, maybe answer a couple of questions. If, for example, Eric, if you have any questions that you would like to ask Alexi before enrolling there, I think that would be a good idea since you have him here live in the chat as well. Cool. The next question comes from Bavia, finally. And Bavia, Bhavna, and Bavia comes from India and is starting school this semester at the University of Tampere, doing a master's in computer sciences. And Bavia is saying, hey Oliver, hope you're doing well. Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're doing well as well. And thanks for the patience. And the question is about housing. So my housing provider is TOAS in the Tampere region. So basically the Tampere or the Foundation for Student Housing in Tampere is basically what we're talking about. I basically couldn't understand what sort of stuff we get in a typical furnished apartment. I saw your video, but if you could elaborate from your experience, like, do I need to bring hot water kettles, steam iron steaming system for clothes, juicer, blender, stuff like this? Also, what is the situation with vegetarian food in Tampere or vegan food? Is it easily available? Great questions. Let's take the second question first, because that's easier. Finland, basically, it doesn't matter in which city in Finland you live in, vegetarian food is very widely available. Basically, every single restaurant that is, any quality restaurant in Finland, it doesn't matter in which city you are, south, west, north, in Lapland, in Helsinki, in smaller cities, everyone is serving vegetarian food nowadays. So definitely. Plus, in many big cities, for example, in Tampere, I'm sure that they have specific stores that actually sell a lot of different ingredients, to be used in vegetarian food. My sister, for example, and her husband, they're vegetarians, and they're doing really, really well in Helsinki. And of course, Finnish supermarkets and stores are, really well packed and stored for vegetarians as well. So you're going to do just fine as a vegetarian here. I think that Finland is a very vegetarian-friendly country in general. So about the typical furnished student apartments, great question. So typically in student apartments that are furnished, the things that you get is a desk, a work light, you get a bed, you get cabinets or closets for your clothes. If you have a kitchen and it's a shared apartment, you have a dishwasher, most often, not always. And some apartments might also have a microwave already pre-installed. Not all do. So basically that's it. If you want a water heater or hot water kettle, steamer for your clothes, juicer, blender, all of this stuff you need to buy on your own, either secondhand or firsthand. So I would say that the furnished apartment, the only things that you do not have to get is, a desk, a bed, maybe a dining table if it's a big shared apartment. But everything else you need to get, curtains you need to get on your own, TV stations you need to get on your own, etc. So even though they're furnished, they're still pretty basic. So I think that if you watch the video that I made about the furnished apartment, I think that gives you a really good picture of what you get. So I think they had like beds, desks, desk lights. They had cabinets or closets individually in their rooms, and then they had a really massive dining table in the dining area, and of course chairs, but nothing else, no sofas or anything. So I think that's a general idea of what furnished apartments are like. Cool. The next question comes from Pierre from Italy, and Pierre is applying for a master's in engineering at Aalto University. And actually I got that already, never mind. The next question comes from Matteo from Italy, and Matteo is starting school this semester at LUT School of Business. Nice. Doing a master's in international business and entrepreneurship. Nice as well. Love entrepreneurship. I am an entrepreneur, literally. So I do love the subject. And actually, by the way, I actually majored in entrepreneurship at Aalto University. The question is, hi, is it mandatory for European Union citizens to have a Finnish bank account? If yes, would some cards like Revolut or N26 be fine? No, they will not. In Finland, we don't use Revolut or N26. Basically, the most common cards that use or work in Finland are MasterCards, Visa, of course, American Express. Alex, you might want to fill up. There are some other cards that work as well. But we basically use Visas or MasterCards. Those are the most common ones, and they work everywhere. In addition, if you want to use mobile apps payment apps, you basically need to have an account with a Finnish bank, because, for example, Venmo that the US people from America use, it doesn't work here. So if you want to transfer money to a Finnish person, you need to have an account in a Finnish bank, or sure, you can make international transfers as well, but that's going to cost you money, extra money, and that there's no point in using that. In addition, if you want to have different services opened in Finland, you basically need a Finnish bank account. So if you're going to come to study here and then you want to stay here to work, get a Finnish bank account. They don't cost that much. The monthly fees for having a bank account, a card, payment card, it's almost nothing. So there's no reason for you not to get a bank account in Finland. So I think that's what I would say here. Of course, if you have a payment card from Italy, most likely it is going to work here, but I would say that getting, a local Visa or MasterCard is definitely something that you should consider. Alex is saying that Luonto Visa works too. Natural Visa, I'm not going to elaborate on that, not to get the video demonetized, but Alex, you can elaborate on that if you want to. Anyway, the next question comes from Alejandro from Colombia, and Alejandro is coming to Finland for work, not for school, and doing a PhD in statistics. Cool. All right, that's awesome. At the University of Oulu. Nice. And Alejandro is saying, I'm going to Oulu University to start my PhD. I would like to know what are your thoughts about Oulu and the university. Yeah, sure. The University of Oulu is awesome. It's a really, really good university. The business school there is really great. I have a couple of friends who went there, did their bachelor's and master's. Actually, both of them have since then moved back to Helsinki because they are from here. So it's maybe a bit easier for them because they have family here. But yeah, they enjoyed Oulu. Oulu is a really nice city. It's quite far up north. So if you love nature, that's going to be awesome for you. It's also great for, if you love, skiing, for example, because the skiing centers are really close, still a couple of hours away, but, closer, 800 kilometers closer than compared to Helsinki. But yeah, Oulu is great. It's a big city. It's very heavily technologically focused city. There's a lot of tech companies established as well as startups that have come from Oulu. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I enjoy Oulu. I usually every single year when we go to Lapland, we drive past Oulu, and I really enjoy it. Beautiful city. Yeah. Anyway, the next question comes from Meraz Morshed, and again, who's from Bangladesh, living in Finland, and starting school this semester in YAMK, University of Applied Sciences, doing a master's in international business. And the question is, I have applied for a master's in international business. Could you tell me about the career opportunities, initial salary ranges, and opportunities without Finnish language skills? Sure. So this is a very complicated question because there are no set salary levels that you are guaranteed. In Finland, we don't have minimum salaries because we are a heavily unionized country, and your minimum salary is going to depend on the field, not only just business, but for example, the banking sector has their own minimum salary compared to, for example, insurance. Well, that might be in the same field. If you, for example, work in HR, they have a different minimum salary compared to the banking and insurance industry. However, to get a kind of a benchmark, let's see, just a moment. I'll check this out. All right. So again, mentioning we are a heavily unionized country, and there's a lot of unions and different organizations that support and advocate for their members. And Suomen Ekonomit is the the organization for business graduates in Finland. So the Finnish Business School graduates is an association for business school graduates in Finland, advocating for business school graduates. And they have salary recommendations, and this actually applies to every single one of you guys. For example, in the field of engineering, they have a association for engineering graduates who have similar kind of payment or salary recommendations. If you just Google technology graduate salary Finland or something like this. You should find the page. But yeah, so basically they have a salary recommendation table that you can see here. So for example, if you are close to graduation, I'm sorry, when you have completed your master's thesis as a sorry, wrong page. Let's see. Here, the starting salary recommendation for private sector is 3,700 euros per month for master's graduates in the field of business. However, this does not happen every single time. For example, at my previous company, they did not pay this well. So this is not going to happen for everyone, and you have to really sell yourself in order to get this kind of a salary in the beginning, even as a business graduate. Of course, it's going to go up quite fast, and I think the median salary for business master's graduates in business is somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 euros once you have a few years of work experience, but depends on the job and the specific sector that you're working in. So yeah, I would check Accommodation or the Finnish Business School Graduate Association. They have these salary recommendations. Again, those are not carved in stone. So if you ask for that kind of a salary from an employer, they might tell you no, we don't follow the recommendations, because they don't have to. In terms of career opportunities, doing a degree in international business, you can basically work in anything except you might not be able to work as a stockbroker or as a banker, but basically anything else. Management consultant. You could work in consultancy is quite common, of course. You could work in marketing. You could work in sales. Basically anything, depending on what kind of what kind of jobs you accumulate during your studies and afterwards. That I think that defines more kind of your career trajectory compared to your actual degree and what the name of the degree is. So that's at least for me. For example, I studied entrepreneurship and innovation management. I have my work experience or work background in B2B sales and digital marketing. So nothing that I just I studied. Meras, so it's okay. I can show it one more time. All right, so Meras, if you Google, if you just freeze the frame for a second, Google Suomen Economit salaries. Suomen Economit is the Finnish name for the association. This way you can find them easier. And then from here, you can actually see this www.economit.fi and pay recommendations. This is the page that you're looking for. Economit is the name of the association in Finnish. And here you can see the table. So check this out. If you don't follow along, just go a bit backwards in the stream, freeze frame or pause it for a second and check out the URL or the way that I Googled. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Talking too much. Chris, to answer your question, Chris is asking, hi, how often do you do these lives? That's a great question, Chris. I do this once per week on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern European time, so EET. So if you convert your time zone to EET, that's how you know when these live streams are happening. So basically every single week on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. EET, Eastern European time. By the way, guys, if there's any one of you who is not yet a member of our Discord server, I recommend that you consider joining. There's a link in the description box below. And on the Discord server, I post updates about upcoming videos and live streams. And for example, every single week I post, do a post there, a couple of hours before I go live, saying that, hey, I'm going live. Post your questions beforehand so that I will be able to answer them as fast as possible. So again, there's a link to the Discord server in the description box below. We're basically building a community of people who are interested in studying and living in a community of people who are interested in studying and living in Finland. And we, in addition to me posting updates about videos, we have a lot of discussions about all of these topics, and people ask questions, and people help each other out with, for example, the university applications, etc. So definitely recommend joining. In addition, if you guys are getting value out of the stream, it would be awesome if you could please gently tap the like button under the video. We're currently at 42 likes, and it would be awesome to get over 50 before we end the stream. I think the highest amount of likes that we have gotten during the stream is 60, I think. No, excuse me. Sorry. Sore throat. So it would be awesome to get over 50 this week. Yeah. All right. The next question actually comes also from Miraz, and the question is, how can I find a job or work relevant to my degree, so international business, work/internships while studying to gain experience? I am eligible for student loans during my studies if I finish my master's in 3.5 years instead of 1.5 years. I'm sorry. For Christ's sake, I am eligible for student loans during my studies. And if I finish my master's in 3.5 years instead of 1.5 years, do I get more loans or the same amount of loan? That's a good question. I have no idea. My gut feeling would be that the amount of student loan that you are able to get is dependent on how much time you spend in school. So of course, if you spend less time, then you're going to get less loan. In terms of where to find jobs, this is a good question, and I actually have a video about this topic. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can actually look for and find jobs in Finland as a student. And I actually have a full playlist of videos about this topic. So again, if you go to the channel, just channel page, and you come to working in Finland as an international student. For example, I just a while ago posted a video about the top 10 employers for international students in Finland. I also have this video that is relevant for you about how to find part-time jobs. It's not just about part-time, but it's, clickbaity title. How to find jobs for international students in Finland. In the video, I basically go through 15 different ways. So 15 different ways of finding a job as a student in Finland, different recruitment sites, different career fairs, different student organization websites, etc. So check out this video specifically right here. And of course, go through the entire playlist because I have a lot of stuff. For example, I talk about average salaries, where to actually find reliable information about average salaries in your field with your amount of experience, etc. And when is the best time to apply for jobs? Because there are good times to apply for jobs, and then there are really bad times to apply for jobs in Finland, especially considering the holiday season. So go through all the videos that I have here on the channel, or I'm sorry, in the playlist, and you're going to learn a lot of important information there. All right. Awesome. By the way, guys, just to let you know, super quickly, if I just look up one thing, just a moment. So actually, talking about employers and jobs, I'm actually, I know that this is a topic that a lot of people are interested in, and because it's such a complicated topic, the whole job application system, how to apply for jobs, when, where, what kind of a CV you need to have in Finland. People are asking about this all the time, but the problem is that this is such a broad topic that I cannot make enough videos about it. And I'm actually building a course on this topic. And I actually paired up with an old colleague of mine who has over 10 years of experience in recruitment in Finland. And we are actually building a massive job hunting course that is going to be finished in maybe a couple of months. And we're most likely going to have almost 5 hours of material in the course. And if you are interested in the course, it's going to be paid, but it's going to be super high value. And basically, it's going to pay itself back the second that you find your first job. If you're interested in the course, you can actually sign up for a waiting list for the course through the link that I just posted in the chat. And by signing up, you will be the first one to know when the course is actually live, or if I, for example, want beta testers for the course, I can invite you guys to come and test the course for a lower price. So yeah, just to let you know, I'm building a course about job hunting. If you're interested, if not, that's fine. But just letting you know. The next question comes from Anastasia Rotish, who comes from Kenya. And Anastasia is applying to the University of Oulu, doing a master's in artificial intelligence. Awesome. That is definitely a field of for the future. So definitely going to have really great career opportunities after doing a degree in artificial intelligence, especially in Finland. The question is, does the University of Oulu offer full scholarships to international students? I don't know. You have to check the university website. Actually, let's just Google this quickly. It should not be that difficult. Excuse me. So if you just Google University of Oulu scholarships and fees, the first link that comes up, and they have 50% tuition fee scholarships, they have 75% scholarships, and then they have 100% scholarships. Please read all the different details from this page carefully. I don't want to go through all of it because you can read it yourself after the stream. Please go through the website after the stream. Again, University of Oulu scholarships, just Google it. It's the first link, and they will give all the details about who can get them, how do you get them, how to apply for them right here. So yeah, check that out. Then the second part of the question was, do I need to work to cover my living costs? No, you do not need to work to cover your living costs. And actually, during your first year in Finland, you are actually not even allowed to work to cover your living costs. You are allowed to work in Finland as a student. However, the Finnish Immigration Service will not give you a residence permit in Finland for your first year if you're not able to cover your living costs yourself. In addition, if you're not able to get a scholarship and you have to pay for tuition as well as your living costs, working part-time in Finland is not going to, as a student, is not going to cover for your living cost as well as your tuition fees, simply because you're not going to get enough salary after taxes to pay for both. So take that into account. You need to be able to cover at least your tuition fee on your own if you are not able to get a scholarship. Then the question, can one apply to more than one university when seeking a scholarship? So scholarships are tied to the universities themselves. Each university in Finland has their own scholarship systems. And when you apply for a scholarship, when you apply to a university, you also at the same time apply for the scholarships for that university. So scholarships are university specific, and every time you apply for a university, you also have to apply for their scholarships. Some schools also have scholarships that you apply for afterwards, for example, after the first academic year, but those are, exceptions, not the rule. This, to build on that, you can apply to multiple different universities at the same time during one application round, meaning that you can also apply for multiple different scholarships. Again, those are only for specific universities, so you only can get one scholarship at a time. Yeah. Please share a link if there is one, and maybe share other universities I can apply to. For example, you could apply to Aalto University. Just Google Aalto University, artificial intelligence. You will find it. I think there's AI in, I think HAMK, for example. So HAMK. It's a University of Applied Sciences. They have an AI program, etc. Just Google Masters Finland AI. You will find multiple options. And again, every single university in Finland has a scholarship program for non-European Union students, and the scholarships depend on the university. So check them out from their websites. The next question comes from Arsh from India. And he has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in a bachelor's in early childhood education, and saying, I just want to know about the career in early childhood education. I have nothing to say here because I have no idea of it's a very specific field. Of course, there is definitely a demand for teachers in Finland. However, there's multiple kinds of teachers in Finland, whether you're a class teacher or a kindergarten teacher, or it's very hard for me to say because it's a field that I'm not familiar with. However, what I do recommend you to do is to visit. Let me just really quickly check this out. Just a moment. Da 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 da. Never mind. Actually, never mind. I couldn't find the link. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to say anything about the field of or the career in early childhood education because I have a couple of friends who are studying as teachers, but we've never spoken about this before. So, yeah. Anyways, the next question comes from Emilia Villalcares, who comes from Ecuador, which is really awesome. And Emilia is still in high school, but is interested in doing a bachelor's in international business at the Kajani University of Applied Sciences. Great school. And the question is, what is the situation with COVID-19 in Finland? I applied to many universities of applied sciences, but I cannot travel yet. And I want to know if I can study online from my country. Sure. So if you are not able to come to Finland, for example, because of travel restrictions, I think that every single school in Finland is most likely going to have some kind of an online education available during the upcoming academic year. Please check out the university websites. The best way to do this is just Google the school's name and COVID, and most schools actually have a specific web page for the information about COVID and how the restrictions, and they are the official source that you should actually refer to when it comes to COVID restrictions, specifically when it comes to COVID restrictions on your education. When it comes to COVID restrictions in general, everyone, please only refer to official sources. Please don't listen to anyone on any kind of forums, social media. Don't even listen to me in terms of COVID stuff, because everything that I say here is going to be old news tomorrow. So please refer to official sources when we're talking about COVID stuff. The number one official source for all things COVID is the Finnish Institute of Health and Welfare, which is basically the government body governing the healthcare system here. And they have a specialized page for COVID updates about travel restrictions, etc. Second is second place is the border guard, raja.fi. Please refer to them in terms of travel restrictions due to COVID. That's the place where you should go when talking about this issue. All right. Cool. Yeah, but that's basically it for in terms of COVID. The situation currently is that we're doing quite well with vaccinations. We had some heavy restrictions for a few weeks because the cases went up. Now it's already down, and it might go up again during the summer. No one knows. So, before we get the vaccinations, to a certain level, the situation is going to go up and down all the time. However, if you compare to many, for example, South African countries, I have a friend in Brazil. Or for example, to many Central European countries, even Finland is actually doing really, really well because, in general, Finnish people we do follow rules and common regulations. So, the biggest way that COVID has impacted students is that the education is not happening at the campus, and we don't have any parties. But we can move around the city. We can go shopping. Sure, restaurants are not open right now, and movie theaters are not open, etc. But you can walk around the city. If you're close to people, wear a mask. If you go inside anywhere, wear a mask. But you can go outside, take a walk. It's fine. As of now, it can change by tomorrow. The next question comes from Topoyo. Hey, what's up, Topoyo? Awesome to have you here as well. I didn't actually see you come in, so welcome. Awesome to have you here this week, actually. And let's see. Topoyo is again from Lesotho, and Topoyo is a regular on the channel, which is really cool. And the question is, hi Oliver. Well, unfortunately, due to COVID, the universities here and borders are closed from mid-December to February this year, and that affected the application because only medical and military staff were allowed into the country, and no kind of documents could be mailed. Darn, that sucks. All right. Do you have any idea if that would affect my application the upcoming application period? I'm definitely reapplying. That's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't know. It's really hard to say anything because again the situation is changing every single day, and the government has plans to do stuff during the summer. Hopefully, we will get back to somewhat normal by the end of the year. But darn, that sucks. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for you. But yeah, there's really nothing I can say here again because whatever I say now is going to be old news tomorrow. So, but yeah, I have to move on to the next question. Sorry about it. The next question actually comes from Camila from Chile, and Camila has not yet decided whether or not she wants to study in Finland, but is interested in doing a master's in education. And the question is, hi, sorry if someone already asked this question. Please don't apologize. Ask all the questions that you want. I do repeat myself all the time, so that's no problem. I'm a teacher, so to study in Finland has always been a dream. Nothing is decided yet, but is it possible to do? Yeah, so you can definitely study education in Finland on the master's level. And what I recommend you to do is to go and check out the University of Helsinki, because it's the best university especially in the field of education. So just Google University of Helsinki for international students, and then you should find studies available in English here on the left. Excuse me. And then let's see, international master's programs. And then from here, I think we should have explore our programs and visit their websites right here. And then from here, go to education, changing education. I think that's it. Master's program in changing education. This is, for example, one that you should check out. I have no idea what that is in practice, but check that out at least. Do note that the programs change every single year, so that they might have more options for the next intake. Plus, I recommend that you just Google, masters in education in Finland, and you will have more options because there are more universities where you can study this topic in. But yeah, definitely it's possible to study education in Finland in English. However, the different degrees that you can do within the educational field are somewhat limited. All right. Oh, first of all, Rishi, thanks so much for the additional super sticker hearts to you as well, man. Thanks so much. That is super, super highly appreciated, as always. So thank you very much. Excuse me, sorry. Coughing. No, it's not COVID. I've been inside all the time. Just a sore throat from talking. All right. Excuse me. The next question comes from Mikhail Nadiratse, who comes from Georgia. Again, awesome to have you here. I think I answered already a couple of questions early in the stream. And Mikhail is coming to do a master's in finance once again. And the question is, hey Oliver, first of all, thanks for all of your very useful streams and videos. You're welcome. That's why we are here. If I have enough funds to study in Finland, but still, if I have enough funds for studying in Finland, but I'm still seeking for a job, is it absolutely impossible to start working at the first year of your studies? No, it's not impossible. The thing is that if you need to have the funds to pay for your living in Finland for the first year, even before you come to Finland. However, if you do have the funds to live in Finland for the first year, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing that stops you from working here. You can actually, as a So European Union students can work in Finland without any kind of restrictions, and non-European Union students can work in Finland during their studies for 25 hours per week on average. And the average is counted per term. So not per month, but basically the autumn term and the spring term. The autumn term is from September to December, and then the spring term is from January to early June. And so basically you have to average the weekly hours to 25 hours per week during those terms. But yeah, definitely you can work. And of course, since you are going to study a master's in finance, there are a lot of job opportunities that you could apply to already from day one, as a part-time employee, specifically in your field. For example, any kind of management consultancy, the banking sector, investments, you name it. You know a lot of the companies. We have, for example, all the big four companies that we have in Finland. We have a lot of different investment companies. You could, for example, work in auditing, in securities, in there's so many things that you could work on as a finance student. But yeah, definitely you can apply for work. Do note that finding a job in Finland right after you come here is a bit difficult, simply because you have to first learn, how the Finnish job market works, how to apply, where to apply from, what kind of companies are available, what kind of jobs are available, what kind of CV you need to have in Finland, how the job interview system is, or how the job interviews are done in Finland usually, what kind of questions are asked, etc., etc., etc. And all of this again is covered in the course that is coming up in a couple of months. And again, it's going to be a paid course, but you're going to pay it back. With your first pay slip, you're basically going to pay it back multiple times. And if the course makes it a month quicker for you to find a job, it's going to be worth it, because there's going to be so much stuff in there about your legal rights as an employee in Finland, where to find jobs, how to find jobs, how the entire job application process works, how to behave in a Finnish working environment, etc. So a lot of stuff. And again, if you're interested, there's a link in the chat to the waiting list. And if you are in the Discord server, I will let people know in the server as well when the course is going to be live. Having said that, we have now gone for almost 2.5 hours. I would like to thank every single one of you who have joined to the stream today. We're currently in 46 likes, so it would be awesome if 4 more people could gently tap the like button so that we could actually get over the 50 like mark, or 50 like threshold. That would be awesome. But meanwhile, thank you so much for all the great questions, guys. Great questions, and it's so awesome to hear all the positive news for everyone who have been admitted to study here. This is what it's my goal to actually get you to do a degree in Finland, or to work here. So it makes me super happy to hear this positive news, especially with people who have gotten scholarships, because many of you come from backgrounds where you don't necessarily have the funds to pay for tuition. So it's so awesome to hear that many of you have actually gotten scholarships. Makes me really happy. And Eric saying make it weeks, not months. Yeah, definitely. So if you are capable of selling yourself as a job applicant, it's definitely going to help you find your first job really quickly. Of course, it always depends on you, but you have to consider that we're going to summarize over 10 years of, well, my 4 years of experience in the recruitment market. My colleague has over 10 years of experience. So we're going to basically summarize 14 years of work experience in the Finnish recruitment field or market into 5 hours of content. In addition, of course, we have both applied to multiple jobs over the years, even before our university studies, during our university studies. And my ex-colleague, she actually was the chief operating officer at my previous employee, so she knows the recruitment field very, very well. So it's going to be value packed, and it's again going to cost some money, but not that much in my opinion. But it takes us so much time to do the course in a way that actually communicates all the information that you guys need. So we had to make it paid because it wouldn't be possible to support making that course unless it was unless it costs something. So I do hope that you guys understand. Anyways, once again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been a great live stream. Thank you so much for any questions. If you have any questions and you still would like to post them into the Google form, I will not be able to go to them right now, but I will start next week's live stream with the questions that are left in the form from today. Yeah, anyway, thanks so much for hanging out, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.